Welcome back to Wine Time Mysteries, where true crime and the unexplained collide. I'm Ashley, and I'll be your host for today's episode, joined by the radiant Joey Voodoo. And today, we're uncovering the unsettling case of Tatsuya Ichihashi, a man whose seemingly ordinary life concealed a dark and disturbing secret. When Lindsay Ann Hawker, a young British teacher living in Japan, went missing in 2007, the investigation led to Ichihashi's doorstep, uncovering a horrifying crime that shocked both Japan and the international community. If you enjoy listening to true crime stories and tales that send shivers down your spine, subscribe, rate, and review us on your favourite podcast platform. Your support helps keep the show going and brings you more stories that challenge reality. Be sure to check out our links at linktree/Winetime Mysteries. Lindsay Ann Hawker was the youngest of three daughters in a loving and supportive family in Coventry, England.
I like Coventry.
I'd never heard of it before. She was described as a bright, kind, and ambitious young woman who had a passion for life and a deep love of learning. She excelled academically and was known for her warm personality, making her very well liked by her fellow peers.
Of course, smart and friendly.
Super lovely. She demonstrated a talent for languages and a strong work ethic. So she was just the trifecta.
She was. Oh, I love language.
Yeah. I do, if I could say it, do it, speak it. Can't even English, but you know.
I'd love language if I could language.
Yeah, if I could language, I'd love it too. After completing high school, she pursued a degree in biology at the University of Reading. Or Reading, who knows?
So not even just language, but also the sciences as well.
She was a smart cookie.
She's a very smart cookie.
Yeah, because she was so ambitious and had an adventurous spirit, she decided to explore opportunities abroad, which included teaching English.
An ambitious, adventurous woman? Surely that can't be allowed.
No such thing.
They can't have their own ideas. And working? You're joking.
A working girl.
I'm also kidding. For those out there listening that think I'm being misogynistic is...
Are you there?
Well...
If you're a misogynist, I'm a misogynist too.
In fact, I think you're more of a misogynist
I think I am
than
more.
I am.
She moved to Japan in October 2006, eager to embrace the challenge of living in a different country at just 22 years old.
Or Nihon for those out there who are Japanese.
Oh, there you go. Tragically, her life was cut short just a few months after her arrival in Japan when she became the victim of a brutal crime.
Which feels so strange. Like, when was this again?
2006, 2007.
Oh, so kind of recent. That's not like that old. Because Japan, like, I'm sure it has, you know, its downfalls too, but for the most part, it's a very safe country, very beautiful country.
Very respectful country.
Oh, so respectful.
So respectful that when you come home after visiting there, you're just like, what is this shit show?
I know, and you bow at everyone. Mm-hmm. You say thank you for everything.
There's no rubbish. There's no bins. People carry their rubbish around.
I know. It definitely made you more aware of the impact you have with like your waste and stuff.
Very eye-opening.
Which is still so strange to me. Like, I know this is not what your podcast is about.
It's Japan.
Which is not what your episode is about. But it's kind of like they're very aware of that and making sure to keep the country as clean as possible. Yet they put packaging on everything.
Yeah.
Like inside products, those individual products are packaged. And that's more waste. But I mean, they do recycle a lot there.
We just love Japan.
Yeah, such a big fan. So happy to be going back in March.
So jealous that you're going back in March. Tatsuya Ichihashi was born on January 5th, 1979 in Chiba, Japan. And if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. His parents were well-educated professionals, with his father being a medical doctor and his mother a dentist.
Get out.
Get out of town. It is said that he grew up in a stable home and his parents provided him with a comfortable upbringing with academic opportunities and societal expectations, unfortunately. As a child, Ichihashi was reported as being quiet and introverted. He had difficulty forming relationships, which would result in him being isolated, which is exactly what you want in a killer.
Yeah.
He attended Chiba University, and it was around this time that he started displaying signs of emotional instability and grew detached from societal norms.
No way.
Yeah. He would also spend a lot of time at the gym.
Leg gasp.
Leg gasp. There are reports that suggest Ichihashi had a history of problematic and obsessive behaviour towards women, especially foreigners.
Well, I mean, okay.
A woman complained that Ichihashi followed and harassed her.
Yeah. Because, okay, and I want to be as
I could see it happening.
as sensitive as I can, because I am talking about a culture that is not mine. There is a very big problem of inappropriate behavior toward, and not all, but a select few of inappropriate behaviors toward women in that country. And that's why Japan, like, their train system is amazing. They have a carriage, a safe place on a train for women. It's a pink carriage, which I think is wonderful.
Love it.
And even on the ground in the queuing section, it says this carriage is for women only. I have seen foreigners get in there because they don't look at what they're doing and they just walk in there. But I don't see any of the women acting funny, behaving any differently or whatever to be like, this is my carriage, get out. Because it's not the dumb thing to do. You don't make a scene. That's not what you do. But to get back on point, like, there is such a serious issue that they had to create an infrastructure within their own, like, travel network where women have a place to be safe.
Yeah.
So, like, if that doesn't tell you that there's a problem, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, unfortunately. Lindsay Hawker would meet Ichihashi by chance on March 21st, 2007. She was working as an English teacher for the Nova Language School in Chiba and was on her way home when she was approached by Ichihashi on the train. Speaking of trains, he asked Lindsay if she could teach him English. She was initially hesitant, however, after he kept persisting, she finally gave him her contact details.
Also, that's like literally a lesson in no means no. No is a full sentence. And if someone keeps on trying, you know they're up to no good. Be persistent and just keep saying no. No. Smack them if you have to. I don't believe in violence.
Smack them with a no.
Smack them with a no.
Although she didn't report it, Ichihashi would follow her home that evening. The following day, he contacted her and they agreed to meet for an English lesson at a local cafe. On March 25th, 2007, Lindsay met 28-year-old Ichihashi at the cafe where they had an English lesson. Afterwards, he convinced her to come to his apartment under the pretext of retrieving payment for the lesson. Once inside, Ichihashi attacked her. Lindsay was beaten, bound, raped, and eventually strangled. The following day, Lindsay was reported missing by her employer. Police immediately started investigating her last known movements. Through interviews with people at the cafe and luckily camera footage, authorities learned she had been seen leaving with a man. It didn't take long before officers arrived at Ichihashi's apartment. He fled barefoot.
Barefoot? No
barefoot.
Shoes, nothing.
No shoes.
Mind you, that's right. You normally take your shoes off at the threshold of the house. Yeah. So his would have been, I don't know what door he left from.
Wherever he put him.
But,
Authorities would go inside his apartment where they made the brutal discovery. Lindsay was found in a bathtub filled with sand and compost on the apartment balcony. He shaved her head and her body showed signs of struggle. Yeah.
Was he trying to compost her?
Yeah, I think so.
As a way of getting rid of her? Because there's no way in Japan that you would be able to, not like that, not without like dismembering the body to get in his bathtub. Where would he bathe? Oh, he'd just go to an onsen probably to bathe.
But yeah, he shaved her head as well. At the crime scene, police also found Lindsay's notebook, which contained her teaching notes, including Ichihashi's name and a sketch of what he had drawn of himself during their meeting at the cafe.
What? He drew him.
He drew himself of himself on her book.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Some of us love ourselves.
Yeah. A nationwide manhunt was now underway to find Tatsuya Ichihashi.
Understandable. And he's barefoot.
And he's barefoot.
What time of the year was this? Do you know?
March 25th.
So it would have been cold.
Yeah, is that cold over there?
Yeah, I think February or March are the coldest seasons. So depending on exactly where that was, it would have been cold. I think.
He's running around barefoot.
Well.
Wanted posters would flood the streets and media coverage was non-stop. However, the search for Ichihashi would go on for nearly 2.5 years.
2.5 years this man's on the lam? You're joking.
Literally on the edge of your seat.
I want more.
2.5 years.
That is wild to me.
That is too much. Too long, too much. His parents made multiple...
2.5 years? I'm so sorry. 2.5 years?
Yeah.
In Japan, and they couldn't find him.
Given, like, the security, like, cameras, everything, yeah. His parents made multiple appeals to their son through the media and even offered a public apology for the horrific crime their son had committed.
Again, it's all about honor and self-image. Like, I get that they're not so much doing that for him. I don't know them, and I'm sure they were lovely people, but that is more so because he brought shame to their family.
And to their country. Lindsay's family was also extremely active during this time to try and capture their daughter's murderer. They launched email campaigns, handed out leaflets, and visited Japan on multiple occasions to try and gain more information. By 2009, life-size cutouts were made and placed to raise the investigation profile. Police would also release pictures showing Ichihashi in multiple disguises, even suggesting he may have undergone plastic surgery to change his appearance. Sightings of Ichihashi had been reported, and it seemed that he was travelling to different locations constantly, staying on the move and evading police. Although there was a 1 million yen reward for anyone that had information that would lead to his arrest, this was later increased to 10 million yen, which apparently was unheard of at the time.
10 million yen? What is that? Like $100,000?
I sure wrote that, but I didn't, did I?
Because I think it should be like 100,000.
I think it's 100,000.
Or a little over 100,000, right. So $100,000 for a reward, that's pretty big.
Yeah, but then inflation as well, so
yeah,
not sure what it
probably would have been more back then, but...
Shortly before his capture in November 2009, police were made aware that Ichihashi had indeed had plastic surgery at a clinic in Nagoya on multiple occasions.
So he's in Nagoya. Right.
The clinic staff grew suspicious and even alerted authorities.
Of what? Like, what was he... Okay, hold up. What was he saying to them? Or is it because he kept coming back so many times, maybe he didn't have like a defined definition of what he wanted and he just kept changing his look every time?
Yeah. He changed his nose and lips and even attempted surgeries on himself to alter his appearance.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Tell me what you mean now. What? As in what?
Some of the procedures, including removing moles from his face, cutting his lips in order to thin them, and even a nose job.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, the mole removal thing, I know that you can do those with a little rubber bandy thing, so that does not bother me, but I feel like he probably tried to cut him. What do you mean cutting his lips?
Yeah.
And a nose job? To just run into a wall?
No, he tried cutting, yeah.
What do you mean?
I knew this case would
Cutting his nose?
Yeah, and his lips, yeah.
Okay, this might be too graphic so you can bleep some words. So are you telling me that this man... Okay, there's two ways that I'm thinking.
I'm not laughing at this, I'm laughing at what's unfolding here.
Speaking of unfolding, are you telling me he made an incision down his nose or whatever, and then he was gonna like the cartilage, or would he just try to clean cut his nose off?
Yeah, I'll show you pictures of what he looked like, but he tried to, change the...
So he was an idiot, as well as a murderer and a pervert. And he was 28.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I don't even know. Just go. Just continue.
Just go.
Just go.
With new details of his cosmetic work, police received reports that...
Cosmetic work. Harvard did himself. Idiot. Sorry.
With new details of his cosmetic work, police received reports that Ichihashi was now employed by a construction site in Osaka under a fake name.
Like gasp.
Yeah. Police acted on these reports, and on November 10th, 2009, Ichihashi was finally caught at a ferry terminal.
Good.
Yeah. He did not put up a fight, and when asked what his name was, he said Tatsuya Ichihashi. He was transferred back to Chiba, where the crime had occurred, and was charged with rape, murder, and the abandonment of Lindsay's body.
You can get charged for abandoning a body?
Yeah,
I mean,
apparently
listen, look, if you've done something bad, throw the book at them.
Yeah, definitely. The trial began on July 4th, 2011, at the Chiba District Court. At the beginning of the trial, Ichihashi admitted to killing Lindsay, although he stated that he did not plan to kill her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. This happened due to her trying to escape.
What? But because you tried to escape, okay, not reasoning it, but self-preservation. Now he's going to get in trouble because she's going to go report what he did.
Yeah.
His idea is to stop her from doing that. What does that result in her dying? It's not her fault though.
Yeah. Oh, because you tried to escape, I had to kill you. Yeah. It is said that he expressed remorse and apologised to Lindsay's family. The prosecution presented evidence that Ichihashi had a history of predatory behaviour and that he lured Lindsay to his apartment under false pretenses.
Again, like gasp.
The brutality of the crime was highlighted, noting the injuries that Lindsay had sustained, and they argued that Ichihashi's actions, such as shaving her head and burying her body, demonstrated that he tried to conceal the crime.
It also sounds like they said apartment, right? So I don't think that he would just naturally have bags of sand and soil at his house. Like, I don't know. But it almost feels premeditated.
His defence team did not dispute that he had murdered her.
Because you kind of can't. It's his house.
Yeah. But they did try to argue that it was not premeditated and tried to gain a lighter sentence on the ground that the murder was not intentional. Although they did not try for insanity, the attempts made to alter his appearance via plastic surgery was highlighted, and that this only showed his willingness to evade police and responsibility of what he'd done. He was willing to
cut his own lips, cut his own nose.
Yeah. On July 21st, 2011, the court found Ichihashi guilty of murder and sentenced him to life in prison. The judge stated that his actions during and after the murder demonstrated clear intent to harm, and the cruelty of the crime was heavily factored into the life sentence.
Good.
Lindsay's family expressed their relief that Ichihashi was finally held accountable for his actions, but stated that no sentence could compensate the loss of their incredible daughter.
Yeah.
Somehow, while awaiting trial, Ichihashi wrote a book about his life on the run. He began working on it sometime after his arrest in 2009, in which he compiled his thoughts and explained how he evaded capture for over 2.5 years, and also reflected on his actions.
The one benefit from this is that maybe it will give law enforcement insights on what to look for because of what he did, so they can use that as something to look for. But outside of that, I don't give a fat rat's clacker what the you did. I don't care what you have to say at that point.
Somehow, and I say somehow, because how is a murderer able to write a book? It was published in Japan in 2011, prior to his trial finishing. The book, which loosely translates to Until I Was Arrested, 2 years and 7 months on the run, was released through a Japanese publisher and primarily sold in Japanese bookstores.
I would just I don't know who would...
I know, that's what I mean, somehow. Lindsay's murder and the lengthy pursuit and capture of Tatsuya Ichihashi made a lot of people question the safety of tourists in Japan, especially young women, and also ignited conversations about law enforcement's practices and how he was able to evade capture for so long. Tatsuya Ichihashi's capture resulted from a combination of public vigilance, tip-offs from alert medical staff, and persistent efforts by Japanese law enforcement. His attempts at disguise, plastic surgeries, and frequent relocations ultimately proved insufficient against the extensive media coverage and nationwide search that kept his face and name in the public eye. Next time on Wine Time Mysteries, Joey explores the eerie events surrounding the Gilgo Beach murders, a case that transformed a quiet coastal community into the centre of a haunting mystery. As questions linger and secrets remain hidden, this unsettling story will leave you wondering how such darkness could go unnoticed for so long. Stay curious, stay alert, and remember, evil often hides in plain sight. Until next time, stay safe and question everything. Sorry, I have to go.
Why?
I promised my couch a date with me and my Kindle.
Oh, no one cares. Bye. I can.
That was just great.
But also, like, you're going to be reading smut. That's what's on your Kindle.
No one cares.
No one cares about your filthy...
Ew, no.
Okay.
Lindsay. That's how it should be.
All right.
All right. Well. Shame. It's the investigation.
Investigation.
The investigation.
Are you from New Zealand
I
now?
think so.
Yeah, right.
Billion, William, trillion.
What do you mean? I'm so sorry. I can't today. I'm trying really hard to have composure. I can't.